Hey, what's good, Cowboys Nation? Thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Really appreciate you guys. As always, it's your girl Craving Cowboys in the building. As always, I got my girl Star in the building. What's up, sis? How you doing tonight? And of course, as you guys can see, we have a very, very special guest with us tonight, Lou's Takes, joining us. How you doing today, bro?
What's good with y'all, man? Shout out to everyone in the building, man. Thank y'all for having me today, man.
Yeah, we feeling good. So excited to be back for another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. Let's give ourselves really always fun when it's just Mickey and I, but we always are happy when we have a special guest. As you said, Lou is here with us. Y'all know Lou is one of our best, content creator supporter. He's always in the chat, when we have our show on Wednesdays and stuff, showing us love. So I appreciate that. But y'all know Lou is putting out some of the best content right now on these streets. I'm not gonna lie, like his content is A1 top tier. So really happy that he's joining us today so that we can talk about some things that he recently had talked about on his channel, and then just some overall news. But y'all know, before we get started, to please like the video. Please like the video on everybody's channel, my channel, Mickey's channel, Lou's channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already. And I said like, subscribe, and share. Please share the content, and be sure to like. Y'all know when y'all like the video, that's what pushes our content out, helps the algorithm to help our content get in front of more Cowboys fan audiences and sports audiences and stuff. So y'all help us out. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Nisi, glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, Nisi. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in Lou's chat, my chat, I don't know, but the basement, Devon Wallace, Jay Bryant, Marcus McFarland, Dacon's Filthy. I know more guys are going to be, people are going to be coming in, but thank you to everybody who's already in the chat.
Yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Thank y'all for the kind words, man. Y'all put in some great work. Whenever I can get on this show, I will. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all be talking some great ball.
No, I mean, we definitely follow some of the best guys out there, and just like Star was saying, she's 100% correct, and you were definitely included, Lou. I mean, as offensive line, the trenches, film breakdowns. You know what I'm saying, through the draft and things like that. Like she's 100% right. You definitely put out some A1 content, like she said. As of late, some of your shows as of late, I wasn't able to watch the entire thing, but I love your latest video about Cowboys staying on schedule as far as winter battles. I think that was huge. I mean, if you can just kind of just talk a little bit about that, because I think that's an excellent point. I mean, especially with this year, Schottenheimer just kind of learning from his past years and just really kind of get into the details of this offseason with the players and coaches as well. Just kind of talk a little bit about that, and just talk about what you talked about in your show.
Yeah, so it was called SOS, staying on schedule. So this is thing in football that it's just an unwritten rule, especially on the offensive side, and I know they got on the defensive side. It's like we just want to be on schedule and be, in the best position on third down. That's how we know we're moving in a positive direction. And one thing I've noticed with the Dallas Cowboys in the previous years is that we always get off schedule a lot, and it's due to lack of communication, execution, and most of all, it's really been killing us is penalties. And these are like just small battles that trickle
Right.
over, and that we're gonna see with Shotty, because stuff like this, I get on the players within the moment, but it's on the coach to establish that at camp. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's gonna matter when you're playing Green Bay and you need a stop and somebody's boneheaded and getting off sides, and now we
Yeah.
didn't gave them life again. Or on offense, when we trying to get moving, we get the ball first, and Dak is moving, and then we get a holding call. That's a 10-yard penalty. Now we're behind the chains. There's no play in the playbook for first and 20. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep. And I think that was important when you point that out, Lou, because I think it's important to go back and let's look at our history. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, especially with the narratives, Dak's 2-5 or 2-6 in the playoffs or whatever, but you don't go back. People don't go back and go actually watch those games and look what happened. Was it that Dak was just out here selling and everybody else was performing great and Dak was just screwing it up? Or what was actually happening? And I'm glad that you mentioned the penalties, because under Mike McCarthy, the penalties were out of control, and they always happen at the worst times possible.
Facts.
And that's from the offense to the defense to the special teams. It was bad across the board. And people were like, well, yeah, we got a lot of penalties under Gary. And I'm like, not as many as Mike McCarthy. Because people were trying to say maybe it's just the Cowboys thing, the refs target us, and which is true. I'm not going to sit here and act like we don't get ticky-tack calls or we don't get calls for holding and stuff when we should.
Yeah.
But I think there were a lot of penalties that could have been avoided. And it is a reflection on Mike. It is a reflection on your head coach when your team just cannot stop getting penalties. You know what I'm saying? And I think so many, when you go to 2021 playoff game, 2022 defense, so many of their penalties. Lou went back with just the 2023 playoff game. I forgot we came out. Defense came out blazing. We was gonna get them off the field quickly.
Yeah.
Then DeRon Bland get a penalty.
Yes.
Then we get him, we limit him again. Then D-Log get a penalty. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, can we stop shooting ourselves in the foot to be successful?
It was. I hated bringing up that trauma. I didn't even show that whole drive. After that penalty, we didn't force a third down till they was on the 3-yard line. I'm talking about first down, second down, 5-yard gashes. We let them catch their rhythm.
It was first down.
Gashing us, and we let them catch their rhythm, and they didn't never give it back. And that's why, in a controlled environment like that, it's a game of inches, and you can't give it away. So yeah, I'm gonna get on DeRon Bland. DeRon Bland, I don't want to hear that. When 5 yards, you ain't supposed to be touching the receiver. Bag up, run with him, turn your damn hips and run. Period. I don't care if you are an NFL player, because at the end of the day, that cost us. We got, I think on that first play, we got what, a TFL. Then it was a sack. And the penalty negated the sack. I would have been hot at DeRon Bland.
It's just ridiculous. I think that, this what you think about that?
I mean, you got that 100% right. I mean, I'm glad that you pointed out, Lou, that it not only falls on the players, but the coaches as well. And I feel like, this year, like I said, Schottenheimer kind of getting into the details. I mean, I feel like under Schottenheimer, I think it's a great point that you pointed out, since that it definitely reflects on McCarthy. But I like that. I feel like with them bringing in so many newer assistant coaches and coaches who are kind of, well within their own, I feel like Shotty said, it kind of challenges him. But also as well, you kind of get, a challenge to the players as well, and just kind of speaking on White Cotton, and his mic'd up, he saw him, making sure that the players were watching the ball as opposed to what they hear, because like you guys were just talking about, they were kind of reactionary in some of them games, and when you make those mistakes, you can't take those back, right? Those are right in the moment. So I like that they're using the offseason to kind of correct some of these mistakes. I mean, Guyton, he spoke about how he had a tough year last year, and he's kind of taken it upon himself to kind of take that second year jump. Schottenheimer mentioned he's taking that second year jump. So I think that with the players kind of taking it upon themselves and the coaches kind of working as far as the discipline on the field, actually working. I love seeing White Cotton down there with the players. Not yelling at them, being active with them, making sure that they feel the hype, feel his energy, right there with them. White Cotton was doing the same thing when they were going around before the draft, when he was doing the workouts with the players, going to the different schools, seeing the guys doing their workouts. He was right there with them on the grass, and he always said that from the beginning, that he likes to be right there on the grass with the players, to be able to feel their energy. They can feel his energy, and then you kind of saw he was calling out players by name. Sam Williams, Luigi, maybe guys who feel like maybe they're kind of deeper on the depth chart. They feel like they're all equal, just like Ezaraku said, that we're all equal out there, all given equal opportunities to be able to make not the same goals, be able to achieve the same goals, so that way the guys can have their own success, if you guys get what I'm saying. So I love the energy from the coaches and players as well, and I feel like under Schottenheimer, these coaches are being held to a higher standard. I feel like McCarthy brought his guys in. Some of these guys had background. Curley, I think he had a background playing linebacker at I believe it was Penn State, but Eberflus spoke about in his interview that he played. I think he played in college. I think they mentioned on the podcast of the Doomsday podcast. Shout out to Matt Mosley and Ed Werder. They talked about his past when Eberflus was playing in college, and said he led the team. I think his junior year in tackle. So I think some of these experiences, can kind of have an effect on the players, and these players kind of understand where the coaches are kind of coming from, because they're right there with them, giving off their energy. So I think it's great for the players, and also that the coaches are being held to that standard, not just with Schottenheimer, but as you guys can see with Eberflus as well.
Yeah, I think when you point out, because when in White Cotton's mic'd up, when he's telling them don't focus on what I say, like you said, I think that's a fair point. And actually, when you pointed out this click, like what actually that exercise
right
was getting at, and he was trying to get them to focus on the ball and not on and you could see everybody kind of jumped the gun. Micah jumped the gun because it's hard. You know what I'm saying? When you get about that, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, you are 100% correct. I think I'm starting to see some hidden lines being connected. Mickey, when you put in the chat, like, the Doomsday podcast, I think what I heard from Eberflus, he wants to focus on technique, and I think I want to say he said effort as well.
Yeah, he said. I think he says defensive. Conditioning and technique will be their X factor.
And that's I did this the video on D tackles and Aaron White Cotton, and I saw it in live action and living color. With the mic'd up, that's what he's preaching. Like, if you gonna f up going a million miles per hour.
Yeah.
And when I'm coaching, one thing I hate is when you f up and you slacking. Pick a struggle.
Yeah.
Straight up. Pick a struggle.
Yeah.
Because and I think White Cotton, that's what he prides himself on when he's coaching. He wants high effort from there. He wants all those big guys to literally exhaust it, exhaust everything, you know what I'm saying? Which is going to be key, having some guys behind them, because they're going to be tired and they're going to be high rotation. And we're talking about these micro battles, because this is what the Cowboys be losing every time. Typical people don't see this, man. Like, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a substitution battle we're going to be losing. If y'all don't know the rules, when an offense goes, they can choose to go no huddle, right? And unless the ref comes and crowd the ball, that's when you're allowed to substitute. If the ref don't do that, you can't substitute. Like, it's at the same time. So they're not going to let one side substitute and you're not. So as a high substitution team, just know they're gonna have the little bitty guy who does a game manager. He's gonna pay attention to little things like that because that's the game of inches. Will the Cowboys, will Schottenheimer take advantage of it?
Yep. And I think another thing when you talk about Flus is, you said conditioning and technique. But another thing that White Cotton preached is actually probably like the first words that he said on that mic that was attack, attack. Bingo, he's been preaching that since first interview that this is an attack front. You know, we're not gonna just be, you know, asking our guys to hold up blocks and stuff like that. And y'all remember that's how Eberflus, I mean not Eberflus, but them kind of altered, and why the players like Mozzie started playing a little better, because first he was just asking them to just take up the blocks and, you know, all that type of stuff, but that was causing them to get pushed out of gaps, some getting pushed 5-10 yards off ball. So when he said, okay, let's change the mindset, let's change y'all to let's be a more of an attack front, then you started to see Mozzie trend up and the rest of the D tackles, really the defense, really the whole defense started trending up under them. I know, you know, our end of the year ranking was not great, but I'm just saying for what we've seen, you know, when we're watching the games, we could see the defense started to perform better. So this is an attack front, but I want to talk. Let's go deeper into Flus's scheme because I'm getting confused because when we're looking at these defensive tackles, we are out here just hoarding 3 techs, and I'm like, this is giving me Dan Quinn flashback 2.0 because I'm like, is it just his scheme? Because I can't put it on front office, because when Zim said I need noses, now they may have been cheap noses, but when Zim said I need bigger bodies in here, we at least went out and got bigger bodies. But I'm seeing with Flus, this is the opposite. Like, we just cut Justin Rogers, which I'm very disappointed in because I like Justin Rogers and I was glad that we brought him back. So we just cut him. And we don't need you, get rid of you, and bring in another 3 tech. So I'm like, I'm not really sure with this scheme. I'm like, am I missing something? Do 4-3 schemes maybe not need as big of a nose tackle as I'm thinking? Because even when I look at Mozzie don't even have a belly hanging over his pants. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mozzie looked like, I'm like, God, like Mozzie
looks like somehow looks smaller. I thought it was just me, sis. I'm like, how does he look even not smaller, but a little leaner, even more lean? I'm like,
I'm telling you, that's how D tackles be though. Like my old teammates, they look slim out the pads, but as soon as they put on the pads, they're gonna look bigger than what they are.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird.
It is weird because I'm like, Mozzie, are you still a 3 or still a 1? Still a 3 tech too, but anyway, can you help us out, Lou? Can you help us out with this scheme, with this Eberflus scheme, and maybe try to give us an idea of what he's doing? Because it seems like we're focusing more on hybrid. Like when you look, we brought in Solomon Thomas. You bring in Perryon Winfrey.
Yeah, something like that.
Who else? I mean, the rest of the D tackles in the room, I think, are besides Mozzie, are 3 techs. Osa, duh, you know. So it's
Denzel Jackson.
He's also a 3 tech.
He's 3 tech.
Yeah, he was now. They may be converting Denzel, because I will say Denzel, when Micah was doing them trainings, Denzel was out there. So I don't know. Maybe they are converting and they're doing some stuff, but it's seeming like Flus is not really that worried about 1 tech.
I think his mindset. So I think our D line are not the thinking type. I mean, I think Zim, you having a attack, hold the block, and then shed off. That requires thinking. That requires film, watching, the action of the backfield and everything like that. When you have guys, thinking one track, hey, attack, you're getting what you want, which is penetration, and that's they're thinking less, so they're gonna mess up less. You know what I'm saying? So I think, just playing devil's advocate, I mean, Flus, I think he wants that to a degree because he want to lean heavy on our linebackers. That's the only thing that's keeping me from saying this is a full DQ 2.0. Like, we ain't got safeties at linebackers no more. We actually do have, a solid linebacking core that can come in and field. My only thing is, I am questioning. You still need some beef when we play the Phillies. Right. Like, these teams who are hard headed and running the ball, and they don't care about your rotation, your substitution. Because one thing that gets you tired, it's not pass rushing. It's actually defending the run because they lean up on you. You know what I'm saying? Constantly and having to deal with that and two gap and everything like that. It's gonna take a toll. So you're right. I don't know. I've been pushing for D tackle. I've been putting out videos. People in my comments, oh, believe in Jay from UCLA, believe in Justin Rogers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why not go get more? We have all this money just sitting. You know, like
Exactly.
why cap it off with a guy who's been in the UFL? I'm sorry. Like, and then I saw somebody was saying like, oh, just because we got a kicker and a returner, why not try D tackle? Those are two completely different positions. I mean, you don't do that. Like, there's a grown man position. Do you go get a grown man from middle school? No. So
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you on that, Lou. I think that, of course, we're gonna be concerned. And shout out to Generation in the chat. Y'all know I did a show with them. Those are a great Joe and his son DJ. So shout out to them. Also, shout out to JC Cowboys was in here. Henny, HCM Sports. Glad. Shout out to all the content creators. Wee Woo. Glad to see you. Joe Tranchina. Haven't seen you in a while, but glad to have you here. NFC East and NBA Street. Some of y'all guys are complex names. Also, my guy Todd Church, really appreciate you. With y'all.
Lee Harrison too on the Facebook group. We appreciate you coming through, fam.
Also, he's always here from Facebook. So thank you, Lee. And I see John Jones just tapped in. But yeah, I mean, when we talk about Eberflus's scheme, you said that he's going to be focusing more on the linebackers, which we do. It is crazy though, because at one point we had probably the worst linebacker room, or one of the worst in the league. We could potentially have one of the coldest linebacker.
Yeah, it's very underrated.
Yeah, like it just literally flipped. You know what I'm saying? Nick's just up in the chat. What's up, Nick?
Shout out Nick. What's up, man? Appreciate you.
But I think it's crazy because I'm like, you literally went from our linebackers was Damone, I don't know what's going on, Clark, and Marquise.
Star, see, I need you to stop.
What's his name? Marquise, I'm way too small to be playing this position, Bill. Right. And so now you move on to allegedly Mike is gonna be playing a little bit more linebacker. Then you got our guy Maris. Then you got Kenneth Murray. Then you got Jack Sanborn. Then you got our guy Overshown, even though we know he ain't gonna be back, at the beginning of the year, but we still have Overshown, who, in my opinion, was playing at an all-pro level last year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we still got some other linebackers that
Buddy Johnson.
Right. Yeah. And I even heard, they were saying, they said that, I didn't hear about Shamar James having an injury during OTAs. They're saying he's picking up the playbook. They're saying he has great change of direction. They're saying that he could possibly, kind of get into the rotation, once the year kind of starts, of course. We got to see how he looks in camp, hearing about his, hopefully it wasn't a serious injury. I don't know, what was going on. They say he did sit out, but hopefully, I think this year they kind of, like I said, holding on the details, it's kind of the mental side of things. And I think that always comes first. Like, I think if you pick up those mental reps, I think once he, kind of gets worked into camp, it really, he should really, be able to take offline, what I'm saying? He already has the playbook down.
Yeah, I think so. I totally forgot about this guy. So we got so many linebackers now.
And he did it though, and shout out to Marquis for stepping up for us. We really appreciate that.
We got to give it to Bill. He did to be his weight.
He did
play that position. It was huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he was playing inside backer too, like
that's what I'm saying. We
had over the guard,
taking on blocks. He was getting uprooted out of there, but he kept trying. It's crazy how now we've got an emphasis, an emphasis on these linebackers. We know Flus to be this linebacker guru. Everywhere he's gone, he's made the linebackers pretty good. No one's ever known an Eberflus defense to have bad linebackers. And, there's a guy who I had so much faith in, which I made fun of him, but I had a lot of faith in Damone Clark. You see, when we first got Damone Clark, I thought he was going to be our middle linebacker.
Yeah.
I was this is our middle linebacker of the future if we got him. Now, of course, when we had that injury, it changed the way he played. It changed his aggressiveness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But the good news from what we are hearing is from Schotty himself saying that Damone seems like he's really got the mental side. Because as we know, that's what Damone was lacking. He was not seeing it. We have film of him saying, set up this way, the play going this way. It's like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like, and he said that he's been hip to hip with Joe Borgonzi, which is I think that's his,
Right.
Dave
Dave
Borgonzi,
Borgonzi, yep.
who is now our linebacker coach. So I'm really interested to see what these linebackers going to do, but we do know it's still a question mark, this D tackle room. Like, I can't leave it alone because it's like, we know if you want your linebackers to perform well, they need good D tackles in front of them. So, not saying we don't have good D tackles, but I'm trying to think, like Lou said, the rotation. Who is going to be in this rotation? Because if teams know, like, it's going to be difficult, but once you sub them out, then we can just take advantage of these guys. That's clearly what they're going to do. And that's what Lou was talking about. That's the type of stuff that can get you off schedule. Because you was doing good, now you done sub these guys in, touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The type of stuff. Or, a 30-yard gain on the ground and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we really got to figure out that rotation. I want to listen to Flus more closely. I wish somebody would ask him, like, you ain't worried about one tech? You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask him that on the Doomsday podcast.
I think they did. He kind of, just from what I got from it, like he kind of spoke a little bit more about the rookies and actually going out in free agency because they actually asked him about, you think you guys need another one tech? Do you think you guys need another cornerback? Kind of short these positions. And he said, I've been looking at the rookies. I could see some rookie involvement, going down, as far as camp. And that kind of made me kind of ask the question, like how high will rookie involvement be? Will they depend heavily on the rookie DTs, knowing that they brought in Toia, that they still have Mozzie, that they brought in a Solomon Thomas. So, I don't know if they, and same with the cornerbacks, like they're before, I'll say early in the offseason, there were some questions, but now that we're kind of seeing Kyer, Elam, we're seeing some of the guys kind of coming back from injuries, things like that. I'm kind of with you guys. I don't know if they'll, just wait and see until camp to see what they have before they decide to make moves, or whether they do make moves in free agency or not. But yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. I would definitely like to look at another and a veteran one tech at that, because at the other positions, the free agents that they brought in. I know we brought in Solomon Thomas, but I think another veteran presence in that room. That's another thing that Eberflus talked about, the veteran presence in that room for these guys to be able to, like you guys say, hit to hit with some of these coaches. For these young guys to be hit to hit with some of these veterans, they kind of get some of these nuances of what to do in these next 40 days before camp. But yeah, I would love another veteran presence in that one tech room, just to kind of get these guys another player to look to, for just some of these smaller things that maybe some of the coaches may not be able to review with them.
Yeah, and that's what's making it annoying. That's why I'm getting mad at Steven, because we literally have a veteran at every level of the defense except the nose tackle, which is literally. how many times are we going to keep making the same mistake? You got a veteran at edge, you got a veteran at the 3 tech, not the 1 tech. So people stop grouping in D tackle, nose tackle, and 3 tech. The same thing, 20-pound difference. You know what I'm saying? Veteran linebackers. You even got some veteran. We already had veteran cornerbacks, and veteran safeties. But we need a veteran nose tackle. That's it. That's all we're asking for. We're not even asking for much.
Exactly. I personally think we should bring back Linval Joseph. Now, I know Linval's old, you know what I'm saying? We know he's going to be 36, I think, this year. But Linval was exactly what we needed him to be last year. You come in, Mozzie was getting majority of the snap, but you have Linval there in the rotation, somebody who can be stout in that middle. And that's exactly what he was. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, not getting pushed off ball. Linval even has some plays where he was attacking and got sacked, and a sack fumble. That play he did like in Pittsburgh is one that stands out when he got that. It was either a sack fumble or just a sack, but it was a very noticeable penetrating play, and you can see what happens when you have a strong, stout D tackle. How that can F up your whole game plan. If if you have a front where your quarterback can't escape what's happening in that middle,
It's over.
it's over with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He can avoid bad tackle play. He can step up in the pocket, and he can evade and stuff. But if pressure, we saw it last year. We saw what happened when Zach Martin was struggling,
Yep.
sack again. Like that's what's gonna happen because it's the quickest way to the quarterback through that gap. So it's like you definitely need some. We definitely need another nose tackle. So we got to keep speaking up about that because if we don't, it's just gonna be the same guys. We're gonna win games. We're gonna get hype, and then when in them big games, teams know. Well, what should we do against Dallas so that they don't kick our ass? Run the ball, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. That's what every team that plays us
Yep.
in big games, they just run the ball on us because they know don't bother pass. They know if our pass rush is nasty, so people know if we just sit here and let them tee off on us all day, we're gonna lose the game.
Right.
So what do we need to do? Run the ball, keep their offense off the field. It's worked for every single team in every single big game. And for once, I would like it to be the opposite. I want us to be the one able to
Right.
run the ball down people's throats and stop the run. So that's something to look at with Eberflus. But let's switch over to Schotty.
Mm.
Now, there's been some y'all revealed that you said there were some hints and some clues revealed by Dak and Pickens about the offensive scheme. Who want to talk about that?
I think I mentioned it earlier. I was just saying that I think through some of the interviews, I think those two, and also I think Shadi included. I think at least for me, some of these interviews, I've heard a lot about pre-snap motion. I know Pickens kind of pointed out that what they're doing in practice, you kind of get a look at what the defense is going to do before the ball is hiked and things like that. And like I said, another thing about Shadi getting into the details. I like I think we talked about this last week, sis, or maybe a couple weeks ago when we talked about Miss Aisha Morrison and Skywalker show about how the offense is practicing in practice, and for the defense to get a different look, I think it kind of ups their game. It kind of takes them to another level. So I like that they're getting into the defense of this and getting into the details of this, and I think that this will be effective down the road when these guys do get to camp, and like you said, these battles do start to play out on the field. But start to see some of these veterans kind of show. I'm saying they may not give these rookies everything, right? You do want to help these young guys coming up. You do want to give them pointers on how to work out and how to have an effective camp. But these veterans are going to show what they have. They're going to give little tidbits, to help the guys out. But I think they're going to kind of show what the veterans are going to show what they have, so that way they can kind of solidify their job going into camp. Because of course, these guys don't want to be beat out, right? So I think we're going to see just some nuances from some of these guys. I think it's going to pay off down the road.
Yeah, some of the things they've been talking about, the pre-snap motion. I'm gonna be honest, all of this I'm hearing, it is music to my ears. This is probably some of the stuff I very much hated about McCarthy. I just hated he was so stubborn,
Yeah,
and was so unwilling to conform and change just a little bit to elevate what he knew. I really hated that he didn't give in just a bit. And we were all sitting here, and I knew it because when we first made that change in Dak's MVP year, it was a fight for him to do that. Like we literally had to go gather as a congregation and go knock on his office and say, "Hey, let's open it up for him to do it." And for him to turn next year, and we just, oh my gosh, it's just like one thing was annoying about him. We'll do something like in the Steelers game, we'll run condensed formations. We'll hide CD. We'll use Jake Ferguson and put stress on their linebackers and actually attack three levels. And then the very next game, you won't see that again. Or he'll come in versus the Niners, and we'll finally see a third running play because I feel we only had two running plays the entire year, inside zone and outside zone. We finally did a damn dart play in the damn Niners game twice, and we did it with the third string running back. What was his damn name?
Malik Davis, I think it was.
No, the running back we were crying for. Remember all that time?
Cook.
Cook. We did it with Dalvin Cook, so it was a waste of a game, and then you'll never see it again. You'll never see it again, and that's my thing. Like Mike McCarthy, man, he did so many things well. He did, but the one sometimes your ways are cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I can tell you stuck in your ways who you hired. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you stuck in your ways because of like how you attacked the Joneses, like how you were petty all year long. We was over here dealing with petty battles with the running back position. You know, all of this, and you're sabotaging my season. Now I know they sabotage your job, but I'm just saying right now,
Right.
Yeah.
you could have did some more motion.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
stole a run play,
A
and
run.
it'd been just fine. It'd been still the Texas coast.
Yeah.
You can still put Mike McCarthy and sign your damn name at the bottom and turn it in. You've been just fine, but you didn't.
Right. And that's the problem. It's like, and I agree with you. Mike McCarthy did a lot of things well. And we're not about to sit here and say he's a trash coach. And I do think Mike McCarthy brought a winning culture here. Now we didn't win in the postseason, but he brought a culture here to where we all as fans feel confident we're gonna win at least 10 games a year. You know, with Jason Garrett, that wasn't always the case. There's a lot of 9-8 seasons. There was losing seasons. You know what I'm saying? But with Mike McCarthy, it was the standard here that we're going to win at least in the regular season. And so we got to give Mike McCarthy props for that. You got to give Mike McCarthy props for winning consecutive games without his starting quarterback. You have to give him props for how he managed injury and all that type of stuff. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league at managing injury and winning, because these other coaches, they lose one key player, is an L after another L after another L after another L. So I have to give that to Mike McCarthy. But when you come from, what Lou's talking about is those adjustments, you didn't see the adjustments. And when you saw how your offense blew up after you made those adjustments in 2023, when y'all had your come to Jesus meeting, why did we go back? It's like our offense regressed in 2024. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. You're supposed to be building. When you have a great year, like year up there, you're building off of that. You're building different nuances and things like that into the offense. But you weren't doing that. You went back to I don't want to run the ball, so I'm gonna use short passes in lieu of running the ball, which thus you're not stressing out or stretching out the defense. You're not causing the defense to think. Defense easily sitting on routes, and then your quarterback is leading the league in contested throws. Because, like, if you're just gonna run slants or, like Vod says, run up field and turn around, how I didn't even realize how, I said this before, but seriously, I didn't realize how bad it was. So you go and you try to evaluate some of our wide receiver film, and you're like, why is most of this? They are literally, you could just predict curl route. It's like, what is going on? So it's just like Mike McCarthy. And it's like he had some concepts, like you said, Lou. We saw the concepts in Pittsburgh. I even broke down his concept in the Giants game. I was like, okay, we doing switch release, we doing
Right.
but he just would not stick with it. It's like when Mike got back to it, it was slant routes and curl routes. It's like that's all he knew how to really consistently call. But shout out to Lou, not Lou, sorry. Shout out to you, Lou. But shout out to Henny and Landlord, because they did a deep breakdown on Schotty, and they were showing how because Schotty has spoken a lot about, when he talks about his scheme, and we talked about this last week, but we'll talk about it again. He talked about multiple, right? We're going to be a multiple offense. Why are we going to be a multiple offense? Because multiple is hard, right? Multiple offense causes the defense to think. And if you can cause the defense to think and like, what play is this? This is a different formation. That's how you keep an advantage over a defense when they don't know what you're doing. And so Schotty, Henny showed a play where Schotty ran the exact same concept, but totally different formation. And so that's what he's talking about. We want to show different stuff, but it's the same play. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to make our runs look the same as our passes, which wasn't something that we did very well. And then you go into how Dak under his first coordinator, which was Linehan, Dak was primarily under center, play action quarterback. Amazing. Then you move him to Kellen Moore's scheme. Dak became. They said Dak became the shotgun. Dak runs shotgun more than any other quarterback in the NFL. Since
Yes.
22, Dak runs shotgun more. Well, first of all, we talk about we don't have a run game. Well, there's only so many runs you can even run out of shotgun.
Right.
Let's not,
Draw.
yeah, it's like there's not much you can do. And so when you think about this, it's like so you start to put together, okay, these were the issues. But when you look at the best quarterbacks in the league, what are they running? Play action under center. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all these quarterbacks that y'all love to death. Y'all say they're the best thing since Jesus came to the earth. These quarterbacks are running easier offenses. This is why when you look at these other teams' offenses, you're like, how come these players are just running wide open? But every time we look at our offense, it looks hard. It looks so difficult. Like Dak is really out there doing he doing rocket science. He's trying to figure it out, and it's like this is ridiculous.
Right.
Like, yeah, your quarterback is good on third down, so he can do it. But you want to ask your quarterback to keep saving you every drive?
You talking about that stat?
Yeah,
We were out of all the teams, we had the most third and longs by like 20 plays. And I want to hear, they played the
KC offense. He broke it down with
Philly.
versus our offense, and these guys, we were leading both of them in third and long plays, and they had some. There was like 3rd and 3. They kind of grouped it all together. But I'm willing to bet Philly was in 3rd and 3. Kansas City was in 3rd and 3 way more than what we was in. We was in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 15. It's like how like Lou said, you can't operate.
And he was top. He was only behind Mahomes that year. And I literally said that's impressive and sad. It's impressive as hell because he's keeping up efficiency wise with Mahomes, but it's sad that we constantly put our quarterback, our team, in those terrible situations on 3rd and long. He got to put the cape on, and this is a bigger issue because him constantly putting on that cape. Now that's coming into the team. Now we got bystander effect. We like, oh, we good, man. Dak don't save us, or Jerry Jones look like in 3rd and 9.
We go as far as Dak goes.
That right there stems from little itty bitty stats they don't push, which is so easy. I just did all they push is the overall efficiency. But like I said, every third down ain't created the same.
Exactly.
As Philly.
Exactly. So it's like, what third down is Dak doing versus the third down that Patrick is doing versus the third down that Jalen Hurts, third down that Allen. And that's why we say, I know the Dak haters in here, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there was one guy talking about Joe Milton coming to save us and Dak not. I'm just like, whatever. But
in preseason, he'll save us in preseason. You always see Milton so bad that just preseason, all right? Preseason.
So he's gonna save us in preseason. I'm not gonna get on Joe Milton, but say on Dak. If we talk about Dak, he's doing what the best quarterback in the league is doing, but in a harder offense. This is why we're trying to get people to understand, like, Dak is on this level. Now, he may not have the arm talent. Ain't nobody saying he got the arm talent of Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or
Herbert.
Who else got a strong? There's a new quarterback. They say he got a strong arm, or Joe Milton even. Let's throw him out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He could throw a ball 100 yards, flat-footed, or whatever. So I'm like, he may not have the arm strength, but when we talk about quarterbacking, being a quarterback, your quarterback is on par with the best in the league. So it's like, and again, he's in a harder offense. So you have to think, okay, we put Dak in an easier. If we put him in an offense like Patrick Mahomes is running, like Josh Allen is running, like Lamar Jackson is running, what would he look like?
2016.
Exactly. So hopefully with this Schotty system, you're getting back to who Dak is at his core, which is it's like Dak can do everything. He's upgraded his game, But who he is and where you're going to probably see Dak explode is if he gets back because to the offense that he was running when he was under Leonard, not necessarily because Linehan's offense
Was stale.
the
Yeah,
passing concepts. But
yeah.
what I'm saying is, if you're going back to an offense where we have a dominant run game, you're going to see a lot better Dak Prescott because we haven't even seen Dak Prescott with a serious run game since 2022 was serious, but again, we didn't really even run the ball in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And Dak missed like 6 games that year. So I think the last time Dak had a running game for a full season was probably 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
We're in 2024. So let's see if we can get Dak back with a running game where he doesn't have to play Superman and see, because you got to know that was rookie Dak looking how he looked. So imagine 10-year Dak.
Right, with the better O-line, with a wide receiver 2 added in. Now with this tight end 1 coming back, of course, with from injury, things like that. So I mean, I think some of these details, I think are going to, like you guys have both mentioned about Dak being in a better offense. I think it's going to give him more weapons and more options. I mean, just like you guys are mentioning in 2023 when we seen McCarthy give the keys to Dak. He had the cadence, and so that kind of gave him confidence behind the line. But it was still a shaky line. I think it was the first 5 games of that season that we still didn't even play with the actual starting 5 offensive line. So I think when you add in things like that, like I think some of those could take away from Dak's successes. So like you mentioned, Sis having a stable running game with these veteran running backs that they brought in through free agency, like I mentioned earlier, just them being able to show some of that veteran experience on the field, that's really going to help Dak a lot. And then when you bring in a rookie like Jaden Blue or even Phil Maffa, who can kind of trying to trudge his way through that line, I think it's gonna be excellent for Dak because it just takes some of the pressure off his shoulders to have to do so much if we do get to a 3rd and long, and we can maybe get to maybe some 2nd and medium, so that way we can kind of stay away from some of those 3rd and long situations because sometimes that really just can really push the team back because sometimes it just puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and I know receivers are kind of struggling to get separation also in previous seasons as well. So I think scheme wise, I think it's going to be better because you have a Clayton Adams, which I love hearing. I think Schottenheimer mentioned that he gave Clayton Adams a chance to call some plays in one of the OTA practices. So that kind of gets, although he's going to be the offensive line coach, I mean, those guys are going to work together. We heard before that Schotty and Mike were working together to kind of put together plays, but it was actually McCarthy's job to call the plays. But with Clayton kind of getting some practice calling plays, I think that kind of, puts them to kind of ahead of the, like you guys saying, staying on schedule, kind of gets them ahead of schedule. So that way, when you do get to camp, when you do get to the season, they'll be a little bit more in line with what they actually want to do and see on the field. And then, you kind of get through knock out the stuff that you don't want to see, some stuff that kind of ineffective through camp, and maybe some things that may not work out. You'll be able to kind of knock some of those things out of the way, and then be able to actually go forward what they actually want to see on the field.
Yeah, I agree with that, sis. And I think that when you talk about the running scheme, I want to talk about one more thing with the passing game. We can kind of go into the running scheme, but another thing is. Shout out to Henny. I'm stealing all your stuff, Henny. So if you're interested, I stole it. So, he said that he showed an article that was written when Schotty was at Seattle, and they were saying how Schotty was asked about like why he doesn't like do short passing so much, and he was like, "We don't do short passing because we value our running game, and he said, but we really like deep play action passes." So he was like, we really value that in our offense. And y'all remember Russ had the moon ball. And this is when everybody was like, Russ was going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. That's how he was looking under Schotty. And so I think that when you add in a person who wants to take more shots, because under Mike McCarthy, we wasn't really stretching the field. And so when you... and
I don't mean cut you off, but when they were stretching the field, they're trying to get the ball to Cavante Turpin and Brandon Cooks, smaller guys who were facing, taller DBs. So that definitely didn't help at all.
And we had to run the wrong routes. We got. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut. We got MF and Brandon Cooks running a damn post route, and we got Turpin running a damn go route and trying to throw it over his damn shoulder when his shoulder is the side of a damn turkey neck. Like, let's be for real, dog. Because y'all know,
facts.
Like, we had. Yeah, our offense was peanut butter with no jelly. Like, it was out of whack. It was literally out of whack. And that's the stubbornness we go back to. But he was like, this is my offense. I love my offense. you're gonna go out there and run the route that I dry up there. Like we were out there damn near playing organized backyard football. Like you know how you get the football and the quarterback be like, all right, you run this, and you run this. Like we were doing that to our receivers,
Pretty
not
much.
taking account of their strengths and weaknesses. Like
Exactly. Like
Right.
you never want a 5'8", 5'9" wide receiver running deep go route, and that's your go-to
Facts.
play and route. When this is like
the game on the line.
Now, this is what I'm saying. Must have deep ball to Turpin. Like what? Like what are we doing? Like why would that ever be why would that be the play call? Like, but it's like this is the type of stuff we talking about. And so now you add in George Pickens, who is a deep ball specialist, and then you see you kind of get in your mind, okay, this is why Schotty was pushing for Pickens, because he knows if I want my offense to work, I love Turpin and the rest of these guys, but I need a true deep ball threat wide receiver. Because you have a guy who can do it all in CD, but CD's not a deep ball specialist. You know what I'm saying? Like CD is just a football.
He a footballer.
He just a football.
Get the ball.
This is about.
And this rubbing off on Pickens. You guys heard Pickens talk about something. Hey, I want to learn everything too. I want to know what everyone's route is on the field. So I love that it's rubbing off on Pickens. I mean, because if we have CD doing a lot of things. Imagine if he had Pickens moving all around the field. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's even great.
And I think you push guys. I really like the acquisition of Pickens because it's gonna really cause these younger guys to get serious. Like Tober.
Talk now. Because like I was called crazy when I was like, Tober.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wide receiver 3. Is he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because Tober, he walking around like, me and Pickens, we're gonna be scary and all this. And it's like, are you even gonna be on the field? Like, let's be honest, because it's like your route running. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Your route running last year was unacceptable.
Lazy.
Right.
Unacceptable. Brooks, your route running was unacceptable.
You were just unacceptable. I'm just all of you. don't go give him the full report. All of you.
One piece in front of the other. But it's like, listen, you guys, now and then you add in Mingo, who's finally going to get an actual offseason and stuff like that with Dak. Then you have Turpin. Like I want these guys to really be fighting and battling it out, and that's why I'm gonna hold you to it, Schotty, because I love what you're saying, Schotty. I love everything you're saying, but I want to see: are you really gonna let true competition persist? That's what I really want. That's what I'm gonna be watching you. We talk about what we're gonna be looking for at camp. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for true competition, because if we just constantly just hear reports, Tober's running with the ones, and we don't ever see him, no one else is running with the ones.
Facts.
No one else. Like, it's gonna be like, okay, we see how y'all are doing it. Y'all already are picking spots, because you can't sit here and tell me that. And these other young wide receivers, they know that Tolbert is, the favorite in some people's eyes to be wide receiver. Yeah. So they're going to be working twice as hard because they want that position. I think a wide receiver like Turpin, he wants that position. He's undersized, but he wants that position. I saw Jalen Brooks actually putting in work with wide receiver route specialist trainers to help him. I didn't see that from Tolbert. I saw a lot of ass.
I saw a lot of. Say it again. I seen he had big brother Dak house.
I was gonna say he ain't allowing that Dak relationship. He's been hollering that since last year.
Bro, Dak can't teach you how to run routes. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dak can say, "Okay, bro, this is what I'm looking for," and that's fine. But it's like, bro, in the games, like, you're gonna get better if you perfect your game. So you can have all this chemistry with Dak, but bro, if you can't get open, you can't get open. And you can't get open because you cannot run routes. So this is the type of stuff I want to see. I want to see if true competition is going to persist at camp, in the wide receiver room, in this tight end room, this running back room, because a lot of these three rooms have question marks, clearly. So I want to see, what are these coaches going to do? And Because it's gonna be hard. Meddling Jerry is meddling Jerry. So there is going to be some player, Jake Ferguson likely, who Jerry and Steven gonna be like, he's starting, period. And so, Schotty, what are you gonna do? Now, if this is not me taking a crap on Jake Ferguson, if Jake Ferguson wins, he wins. But if we're hearing all camp, it's this guy, it's this guy, it's this guy, it's this guy, and then we see Jake Ferguson sitting in preseason, I'm gonna be pissed because that's gonna tell me this was you all this competition that you was preaching, Schotty. No.
That's a huge point, sis. I mean, they've been big in October with him leading the team in touchdowns last season. I think I've heard Schotty say that at least 3 times in this offseason.
I hate that stat. Like, can I say something? Because I've been hearing people saying it like that's a big, a big accomplishment and everything like that. That's such a throwaway year. Why are we acting like he Dez?
Right.
I'm not saying he can't be like, he ain't on the level of Dez, but when you think of somebody in receivers getting touchdowns, either they snatching the ball for somebody or they routing up. My guy, when I can't get him to, I give him credit. He was at the right place at the right time a lot of times.
A lot.
Yeah. On the scramble plays, though, I mean, and
that's true.
Those breakdown plays, those third plays when you need to convert, or fourth down when you need to convert.
Broken.
Right.
Win on time. That's what we're
structure. Yes.
Exactly.
Because he wasn't winning on time. He was getting open, broken plays, or there was touchdowns that he got where it was just wide open, like nobody was.
Failed plays because he wasn't blocking correctly. There was a lot of things that Tolbert, that Tolbert wasn't doing correctly on the field. I'm saying there were several instances where we seen that, a play was whipped.
That's a key.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey.
Those 2 names, Tolbert and Ferg, the blocking from
terrible
and unacceptable.
That's why when people see me going so hard against these guys, I really do pray that we are a run first team just to expose some of y'all favorite guys. The thing is, y'all can me, Mickey, and Star. We did the work. We was up here watching the damn film and seeing how disgraceful they were looking on film. McCarthy called that same little play, that little crack toss that he loved to do with either Mingo or little Brandon Cooks cracking on the damn defensive end. They miss every time. And then, oh my gosh, it was sometimes he had the receivers blocking like an Aiden Hutchinson, and Aiden Hutchinson threw him like a rag doll. Like he was somebody's 2-year-old little child.
That's dumb. Just like you got wide receivers and tight ends trying to block Pro Bowl, all pro defensive ends.
But they're supposed to be able to. So that's the thing. Like, in Cowboy land, they get tossed like rag dolls. But you watch Niners.
You're right. You're supposed to be able to. But that's what I'm saying. It's like some of these guys, like I remember when I did some film reviews during the season, people is on my comments, what the hell is Ferg doing? I'm like,
you tell me.
Beats me out there. Like, what are you doing? Just like missing. Like so many times, I know people hate Zeke. I know I'm not gonna talk about him too long, but there was so many times, like it's just blown and missed assignment.
No, every time. No, we're gonna talk about it. Like, I don't care. I wasn't for Zeke. I was for Rico, but I couldn't deny when Zeke got the ball and the cutback lane was there, and you just see Tolbert, or you see what's the backup name? The other tight end number 2. We're gonna call him that. Just a lose on the play. Lose. It could be a safety.
It's like Tyler Smith. He be doing good all game. As soon as Zeke get in there, blown aside. It's like, what's going on?
Maul. What the hell? What the hell?
Like, what the hell y'all do? That's what our running game looks like. Under Mike McCarthy, our running game looks like, what the hell is this? But that goes back to who? Who was our running back? Who was our running coordinator? Just Blasco.
Yeah.
Who had never
coach running back. He was Schotty first. His daddy gave McCarthy a job, so he was like, "Hey, you want a job? You want to make $1 million for a year? Come on in." I love his friend.
He had no idea what he was doing, and it's like and that's the problem. I don't want to keep harping on Mike, but it's like, Mike, when you get your second coaching job, brother, if you're a delegating coach,
you need a Schotty.
But you want to delegate. You can't. If you're going to be a delegating coach, You need to have strong assistant coaches.
Right.
Not your son's. I mean, your best friend's son's cousin. Like, come on, man.
And-
Dog neighbor.
You
and
make
all,
you make Glasgow. What they call that? The guys who do the stats. How all of the guys first come in. Like a lot of coaches come in like that in the league, where they basically what's
the
it
game that game manager like it's like
called?
run game coordinator or something like
No, I can't think of it right now, but it's basically like where
quality control.
yes,
control.
yes.
Yeah.
That's where if you want to give your homeboy son a job, you make him the quality control coach.
Right.
Come on, let's
Right.
learn. But you put him make him the run game coordinator. He have not even coached running backs.
Right, and also to your point, says he also didn't go behind them and check them. Like I think Dak mentioned that Schotty was checking coaches in practice. When did we heard about McCarthy checking coaches? I mean, he didn't even check Quinn when they started the ball. He didn't even check Quinn when the defense wasn't playing well. He wasn't. I mean, granted, Quinn was up in the press box, but he wasn't checking Quinn about his guys, about why your guys constantly committing penalties.
Because they have the phone. If I was Mike, that playoff game 2023, I'm calling Quinn the hell up and like
Right.
it's going
Right.
What the hell you doing, boy? You been taking too many of them damn meetings, them coaching meetings. That's what you was doing. You weren't doing your damn homework because you over here doing some stuff. You just turned in some stuff. Like you think you could? I'll fire you after this game.
Right.
You know, like straight up,
Right.
because it's like.
Schotty, you need to realize, brother, like I know we all love all these coaches now. But and I'm glad that he's holding them accountable now in practice. But when that season starts, Schotty, you better keep up holding them accountable because that's when it really matters. He's not right, and it's on you. We don't care. Like Mike McCarthy thought we would just be like, oh well, that's Dan Quinn's side of the ball. No. You're the head coach. You're the head coach. You're responsible for everybody. You can't just say, well, that's Dan Quinn. No, buddy. Yeah. And so that's what I hope Schotty realizes is like, hey, you're the head coach. So you have to hold all of your assistants accountable. If they're not doing their job, then you need to spaz out on them. And I'm glad that he's spazzing out on them in front of the players. Because he's like, everybody must be, that's the standard that you're setting, Schotty, that everybody must be held accountable and that nobody is the team. That's why I'm glad. I talked about it on my Twitter about how Schotty is the first coach to decenter Dak. When I say decenter him, that means he's like, Dak is not the team. And they keep it. Then the reporters keep asking coaches.
They keep asking it.
So how important? You want to establish culture. So how important is Dak in the center?
Right.
What do you want to see from Dak? Because they trying to keep. Because they're trying to get him. They're trying to make him put all this stuff on Dak. So if the season come when we losing, they get them articles. They start writing them articles. Is that the choice? Maybe we should give Joe Milton a chance. That's what they want to do. But Schotty is making it clear that Dak is an important piece of the team, but he is not the team. He's not the team. And I'm glad we finally have a coach that says he's not the team. Like, it's not on Dak for us to win. It ain't on Dak for us to lose. It's on Dak to do his job. Everybody else do their job. And so that's why I'm glad Schotty with the leadership and stuff like that, with Micah and C, holding everybody accountable. Everybody's got to be accountable for what they're doing and what they're putting on the field. Because I've said it before. It amazed me. I really need to go back and find them clips. But when they were asking the defensive side of the ball, okay, it's 2023. We near playoffs. Why y'all think it's going to be different? Them ninjas said that because we got that.
D-Law.
No. This offseason, I had to quote tweet my star player in the midst of his contract negotiation because his ninja ass tried to say that shit again. Got his brother in on it too. Yeah, he tried to say, "Oh,
we don't need that because we got that. We got the bit." No,
we need you too.
You don't hear nobody saying. That's what I'm saying, Schotty. You better fix this mentality.
Fix it quick
because you don't hear people. You don't hear the Chiefs saying, "We got Mahomes. We got Patrick Mahomes. That's how we got Josh Allen. That's how
we got me.
Win." Exactly. Like what?
We got me.
Exactly. They ask you how you know we're gonna win because me. Because I would make.
You're not an all pro. I'll show it that game.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like Dak. I'm tired of take that cape from him, Schotty.
Take it.
And Shotty's got to hold Dak accountable too. Dak checking out of runs.
Oh yeah. Or because right now my money is funny and my credit won't get it. Dad, keep checking out the runs. I'll find my way to hide my ass in that ATM. I am right down the street, and I would cuss your ass. I will do it on national television. You think I'm playing because you keep checking out these runs because you're not helping
You're
your
hurting
team.
yourself
You're
and you're
actually hurting your team. Constantly passing the ball.
trying to be super.
Right.
Actually, that's one of the damn winter battles I'm gonna go over. Complimentary football. Jesus Christ.
Man.
We gotta give an F about that. Yes, you the quarterback need to give an F about Jay Toia. You constantly throwing the ball and going out, and we only running 2 seconds off the damn clock.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
pissing me off. That's another battle. Pissing
That's
me
a
off.
huge, that's a huge point. That's a huge
Pissing
point.
me off
Yep.
with that. Because McCarthy used to do that too. As soon as we get a turnover, 3 passing plays. It's
3
been
and out.
5 seconds.
3 and out. 3 and out all the time. I think I mentioned that on that show with Botch Sis when we talked about, we get late in the third quarter, start in the fourth quarter. We get the ball back. We have a chance to double up, score twice.
3
We
and
go out and run 15 seconds off the clock. What are we doing?
No, we could have punted.
Me and my brother went to the Seattle game. We almost lost it because remember when Mike McCarthy did that pass, and gave Seattle a whole winning drive?
Was that Detroit? Oh, that was Detroit.
No, that was the Seattle game and we won that game because Micah got that sack.
Yes.
Because they were driving on us. Remember, that was we kept going back and forth, touchdown.
And we got the ball, and this man pass. I'm like, what is this, Madden?
That's what I'm saying. That's what he did. Pass, and gave them a. If Micah didn't get that sack, we lose that game. We
lose.
And so this is what I'm talking about, like situational awareness. I want a coach that really knows situational awareness and that can help that in important situations.
Right.
I go back to the 2022 playoff game. Dak, it's third and short or second and short. Why are we throwing an option route? I don't care what Kellen Moore called.
Check out of that buff.
As soon as Kellen Moore said option route, I said, all right, Zeke, we're giving the ball to you. And if you don't get it, we just gonna QB sneak it over.
And I dare him to say something. I'm Dak. I'm older than you. Chill out.
Awareness. I needed to be better. And I need a coach to make him better. I thought Mike McCarthy was gonna make him better, but hell no. Mike McCarthy did a lot of goofy stuff.
Yeah.
In pivotal moments, it's like, come on, Mike McCarthy. And that's what we can wrap up the show on this. It's like what I want from my coach is for us to win the coaching battle. Because really in these big games, we just get out coached. Like you're getting out coached. These coaches, they know they have their plays, they have their counter plays, they have things set up. And they know how to keep fueling that energy into their team to where it's like they may be down, but they keep fighting to the end and they come out with a W, opposed to us, what they call us front runners.
Exactly.
Because soon as we get off script, soon as the defense allows a touchdown, everybody starts panicking. And you can't do that because it's like the only way you can win a game is you take it one drive at a time. But if you're thinking, oh God, the defense gave up a touchdown, now we got to do this. And it's like, I'm tired of that. It's like, can we get somebody, a real coach in here that's not saying, let me not be disrespectful. Mike McCarthy is a real coach, but a coach who is better in situational awareness and situational downs. That's what we're really going to be looking at you, Schotty, because we're already used to winning, but we want to see, can you help us win the big games? The games where everybody, all the ESPN saying L. Can you help us make one of those games a W? Because that's where I'm really going to start being like, okay, Schotty, I believe for real now. I'm starting to believe for real. But if you still, I don't care if we whoop Washington. I don't care if we whoop the Panthers or whoop the Saints or whoever the hell else. I want to see, can we beat the Ravens? Can we beat Kansas City? Let's see if we can beat them. Can we beat the Raiders with the Pete Carroll Raiders? We couldn't beat the non-Pete Carroll Raiders. Can we beat the Pete Carroll Raiders? Like, there's a lot of teams we got on our schedule where this is a different team now. And I want to see, can we actually win these games? So we gonna see. We gonna see, Schotty. It's gonna be real interesting because all you can do is talk now, but we gotta see when these games are played, what's happened. with that.
I definitely agree with you, sis. And I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I'll let you go ahead and get the last word in, Lou. But I definitely agree with you, sis, on that. As far as the new coaching standard this year, I love what Shotty is doing, and I don't know if this happened in previous seasons, but I was watching an episode of The Blitz, and they mentioned that the coaches were participating in the diversity coaching summit held by the Cowboys and Nike, where some local high school coaches get to come and learn from some of the coaches on the coaching staff. And I love that. I mean, I love that we have some newer faces in here, some guys who have resumes, from the wide receivers coach to the running backs coach, to Aaron White and Cotton coming. Aaron White Cotton coming in, Clayton Adams, of course, that we know, going to be the offensive line coach. So I love that we brought in coaches who have these outstanding backgrounds, have these resumes, who taught these top tier players. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure in previous season we didn't look to, you know what I'm saying, like you mentioned, Jeff Blasco, Scott McCurley, some of these guys that we had before, kind of elevate these rooms. So now that we have the person, and that's another thing. There's one quick point I want to make. Personnel was mentioned both by Schotty and Eberflus. And so shout out to the front office making moves in free agency, bringing in guys, trading for guys, and bringing in former first round picks. So I think that's going to also put another, I'll say another level of pressure on the coaches, to kind of elevate these guys to see if they can kind of get back to, their expectations when they first kind of came in the league. Because we've heard about the Kyer Elam, Solomon Thomas, being exemplary in some of these OTAs, having effect on younger players as well. So we're slightly seeing it so far. Let's see if it continues going into camp. Let's see what these young players kind of take in these next 40 or so days before camp to see what they get from these veterans. And also the lead, I forget I think it was the Legends community that they also brought in. Hopefully they get some pointers from them as well. DeMarcus Ware. That's another thing. Even if we talk about coaching DeMarcus Ware and kind of comparing him to coaching Micah now, so and just knowing that I think since you brought up a couple weeks ago, Micah's spending that time with DeMarcus Ware, and now he's being coached by Eberflus. I think a lot of these connecting lines are just really gonna just really show themselves. Like with Eberflus, I think mentioning that he was here. I think when Elam's father was here playing with the Cowboys, so just him being coaching some of these players of different time periods, the Cowboys in different time periods, and be able to kind of coach this newer generation, if you will. I think it's really going to help his history, Eberflus' history, Schotty's history is going to help each other and also the players as well. And I really, that's one of my favorite parts of this offseason. Shout out to the front office. I'll definitely give them credit on this, them allowing Schotty to bring in not only the personnel, but the coaches as well to really elevate this organization, because I think that's something that's we really needed, not just the elevation in play, but an elevation in coaching. So I think that's a really huge point, sis, about, challenging the coaches and seeing if when we do get late in the season, when we do face those tough teams, it's not always about talent. It is about what your coaches can do to elevate that talent and also what they can do scheme wise. So I'm very excited to see what camp will look like and also what the season will look like with the personnel that they brought in, and just to see how it does translate, throughout the team.
Right. I agree with that. Lou?
Yeah. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Appreciate you.
It's still, get a DT.
That too, fact.
Get a running back, get a cornerback, do what you need to do. But coaching wise, I'm going to be paying close attention to you, Schotty, starting with camp. I want to see how difficult this camp is. Can you make it dreadful? That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be dreadful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
right.
It's I want to see if you can continue what you're saying and just preaching, being these guys' friends. But then, can you make it, muddy it up, you know what I'm saying, and coach within situations.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see, can we, like Star said, can we be the difference maker in these games? Like, there are certain battles, like us not valuing each down, like not having throwaway downs on first and second down on offense and defense, staying on schedule, take care of the penalties. My next show gonna be over field position. I'm gonna be talking about special teams. Can we take advantage of field position? That's so important. And I feel like we never did under Mike McCarthy. When we have a short field, take advantage of the short field, or take advantage of a good punt, pinning them deep, because that's going to be the difference makers in those tight games when they're not giving an inch. That's what the Kansas City does. Like, even though we might not get it here, okay, we get one first down, we punt it deep, pin them down in their 20, and guess what? Now they got a long field to go. We're going to play defense, pin them down in their 10. Now they're going to punt the ball. We're at the 50. We have changed the field position. That's the little battles that we don't pay attention to, but we need to. And we have one of the best returners in the league. So we need to start doing that and taking advantage of that. So I'm looking at how you're going to coach, how you're going to take care of the little things, complimentary football, stuff like that. I'm excited. I just wish they'll take things seriously and actually just not be okay with competing and actually go for it all. And I don't wins and losses are cool. I'm just looking to see if this team is just competing every game and muddying up no matter the opponent. So
Yeah.
that's my final word.
All right. Well, this was a great show, guys.
Yes, really.
I feel like we talked about a lot of different topics, but I think this was just a good, just off-season show. Like, let's just talk about, things that we're looking at and expecting, and as we prepare for camp, that's going to be coming up sooner than we think. Literally next month. I think we're probably like 3 to 4 weeks away from camp for real. So it's about to be for real. And like y'all said, like we want to see. We don't. Is camp gonna be Disneyland or Afghanistan?
You need to stop.
That's the bar.
Yes,
That's
for
the
real,
bar.
for real.
And it's like we and shout out to Coach Mark. Coach was in the chat, but Coach,
Yeah.
Yes, facts. Yeah.
K camp, and it's like, bro, I want to see. And Schotty, it's like you did all of this. I'm your best friend. I'm going to your game. I'm going to your camp.
I'm your coach.
But when you get to camp, we better see a flip. I would love to see footage of him spazzing out on the coaches, the players. I want to see it because that's how I know. Okay.
I want to see it on HBO. I want to see it on TV.
Exactly. Like he said when he get excited and he get angry, he starts saying F words. I want to hear the F bomb.
Right. Yes.
Like we want to see this fire that you said, this energy. We want to see it. Because if I see out there laughing and giggling and cupcaking and all of this stuff, it's like it's the same stuff. It's gonna be the same stuff. But anyways, guys, thank y'all so much for rocking with us in the chat. We really appreciate everybody who was here, who supported us. My guy Rico came in late, but really appreciate David Chavez and everybody who was here with us. Please, before you leave, please like the video. Please like the video on each of our YouTube channels. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Mickey's is Craven Cowboys without the G. Mine is Stargazer Sports. Lou's is Lou Tates. So y'all please subscribe if y'all haven't already, and share our content, guys. You know what I'm saying? We really try to grow, continue to grow. Lou has put in serious work and he's grown his channel, but of course he has more milestones that he wants to reach, and so do we. Me and Mickey just trying to get to the 1,000. So if y'all can help us out, that'd be great. But we really appreciate y'all, and y'all have and donate to our Cash Apps. We have everybody had a Cash App on the screen. So if y'all feel real kind to donate, we really appreciate that. But thank you to everybody, and y'all have a good night.
All right, appreciate y'all. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.